Hidden talent unveiled. Amara Chen froze mid-polish as billionaire tech CEO Nathan Cole waved a document in Korean before his executive team, her secret fluency burning in her throat. "Anyone who can translate this acquisition proposal gets my salary for a day, $27,400, Cole announced, nudging aside Amara's cleaning cart with his polished leather shoe. The conference room erupted in laughter as executives exchanged knowing glances. Amara kept her eyes down, focusing on the circular motion of her cloth against the oak table. "Maybe we should just use Google Translate," joked Ethan Brooks, VP of Operations, his Stanford class ring clinking against his water glass. "Probably more reliable than whatever budget service we'd get otherwise." Amara's phone vibrated in her pocket, a reminder of the eviction notice, 72 hours before the court hearing that could leave her family homeless. $27,000, the exact amount standing between dignity and desperation. Her fingers closed around the sapphire translator's pen in her pocket, her mother's final gift. A skill hidden, a heritage denied, a chance dangling before her. Would revealing her true self to those who looked through her bring salvation, or merely new humiliation? The question hung in the air like a prophecy as she slipped from the room, invisible once more. Amara hadn't always been invisible. 15 years ago, she was the bright-eyed 8-year-old who amazed her teachers by switching effortlessly between 3 languages. Her Korean mother, Soo-jin, had met her Haitian father, Marcel, at an international student exchange in Seattle. Their love story had flourished, despite cultural differences, bound by a shared passion for languages and education. "Words build bridges between worlds," Marcel would tell Amara, his voice gentle as he taught her to write characters that danced across the page. By 10, she could translate conversations between her Korean grandparents and Haitian relatives, earning proud smiles from both sides of her family. The sapphire translator's pen had been her 13th birthday gift. Cool and weighty in her palm, its smooth surface interrupted only by carved characters spelling wisdom shines. When she held it close, she could smell the faint jasmine scent of her mother's study, where they'd spent countless hours poring over texts in multiple languages. This pen belonged to a great scholar, her mother had explained. Now it belongs to another. 3 months later, Marcel Chen was laid off from Cole Technologies during a strategic restructuring. After 15 years developing the company's Asian market partnerships, he was discarded with a severance package that barely covered 2 months' rent. The health insurance disappeared overnight. When the persistent cough turned out to be stage 4 lung cancer, the medical bills accumulated faster than the rejection letters from his job applications. Amara remembered the night her father had returned from an interview at a competitor, his face ashen. "They can't hire me," he'd whispered to Soo-jin. "Cole has blackballed me throughout the industry, something about proprietary knowledge." 6 months later, Marcel was gone, leaving behind $43,756 in medical debt, a heartbroken family, and a sapphire pen that Amara now carried everywhere as both talisman and burden. Soo-jin took on 3 housekeeping jobs, her computer science degree from Seoul National University useless without American credentials or connections. Amara's dream of a linguistic scholarship evaporated when Soo-jin's first stroke hit, forcing the 17-year-old to abandon her senior year and find immediate work. Now, at 23, Amara's days followed a punishing rhythm, cleaning offices at Cole Technologies from 4 p.m. to midnight, caring for her partially paralyzed mother until dawn, grabbing 3 hours of sleep, then translating academic papers online from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. under the pseudonym Word Weaver. The anonymous translation work paid $22 per hour, far better than her cleaning job's $14 to $25. But clients were inconsistent, and revealing her identity risked losing the healthcare coverage her mother desperately needed. 60 hours of work each week, every month. $200 for rent on their one-bedroom apartment. $463 for her mother's medications. $275 for the payment plan on her father's medical debt. $190 for groceries. $145 for utilities. The arithmetic of survival left nothing for savings. For 5 years, Amara had moved through Cole Technologies like a ghost, emptying trash bins while executives discussed billion-dollar deals. She'd learned to make herself invisible while her ears caught everything: strategic acquisitions, product launches, personnel changes. Her fluency in Korean, French, and English transformed meaningless background noise for others into valuable intelligence for her. She knew Nathan Cole had cut employee retirement contributions while purchasing a $14.2 million vacation home in Vail. She knew Ethan Brooks had taken credit for the Seoul expansion strategy that junior analyst Aisha Patel had actually developed. She knew the company's public commitment to diversity masked systemic wage gaps. Maintenance staff were 87% people of color, while executive leadership was 94% white. Knowledge without power. Intelligence without opportunity. Amara cleaned their coffee rings while understanding every word they said about Asian markets, Caribbean consumers, and untapped multilingual demographics. The irony wasn't lost on her, but irony didn't pay bills or prevent evictions. And now, the 72-hour countdown had begun. Her mother's disability appeal had been denied again. The final eviction notice would be processed Monday morning. Without $25,000 for back rent and legal fees, they would join the invisible ranks of the displaced, those who built, cleaned, and sustained the city without being welcomed by it. The document appeared on Cole's desk at precisely 10:17 a.m. on Friday morning. Amara noticed because she was polishing the glass trophy case nearby, close enough to see the Seoul postmark and the logo of Kim Tech Innovations, one of Korea's largest semiconductor manufacturers. She also noticed how Cole's perpetually composed face flickered with momentary panic. By noon, the executive floor was in chaos. Urgent meeting notifications pinged across monitors. The translation team was scrambled. Then the bad news delivered. Park, the head translator, was in Busan visiting family, and his 2 associates were at an industry conference in Osaka. Amara emptied waste baskets methodically, moving through the commotion like a shadow when Cole burst from his office, waving the document. "Everyone in the conference room now!" She should have left. Her shift technically ended at noon on Fridays, but curiosity, or perhaps fate, kept her lingering, wiping down already clean surfaces as the executives assembled. Cole slammed the document onto the table. "Kim Tech is offering us exclusive manufacturing rights for our new processor. This could double our market share in Asia." "That's fantastic news," ventured Brooks, the confusion evident in his voice. "It would be," Cole snapped, "if we could read the damn thing. They've sent it in Korean, and our translation team is unavailable. They want a response in 72 hours, or they're taking the deal to LG." Amara's heart quickened. She recognized several characters visible on the cover page, technical terms her mother had taught her, specifications for semiconductor manufacturing tolerances. "Can't we use a service?" asked Aisha Patel. "For something this confidential and technical?" Cole scoffed. "Do you want our competitive advantage leaked to every tech firm in Silicon Valley?" The executives shifted uncomfortably. Amara's cloth moved in silent circles on the credenza. "I'll make it worth someone's while," Cole continued, his voice taking on a performative edge as he noticed her presence. Translate this 30-page proposal accurately in 48 hours, and I'll give you my daily salary. That's $27,400. The room fell silent. Then Brooks laughed, others joining nervously. Maybe even the cleaning lady can try, Cole added, gesturing toward Amara. Though I doubt they teach Korean in housekeeping school. More laughter, sharper this time. Amara kept her eyes down, but her fingers tightened around her cleaning cloth. We'll divide it among the team, Brooks suggested. Use translation software for the first pass, then clean it up. Fine, Cole conceded. But remember, 72 hours until Kimtech walks, and these documents don't leave this building. Security protocols in full effect. As the executives dispersed, grabbing copies of the document, Amara noticed two things. First, they were badly mistranslating even the title page, murmuring about partnership opportunities when the characters clearly indicated exclusive manufacturing contract. Second, the 72-hour deadline aligned precisely with her eviction timeline. Cole's daily salary would cover her mother's immediate medical needs and the overdue rent. But revealing her skills could cost her job if she failed. Or worse, if she succeeded and threatened the executives' egos. And what if the document contained the same predatory policies that had destroyed her father's career? Would the same company that had ruined her family now profit from her hidden talent? And if she refused this chance, would she ever forgive herself? Amara made her decision at 1:43 a.m., standing in the dim light of her apartment kitchenette. Her mother slept fitfully in the converted living room, medical monitors casting blue shadows across her face. The eviction notice lay beside Amara's translation notes, the number 72 circled in red, counting down the hours until Monday's court hearing. She wouldn't reveal herself directly. Not yet. Too risky. But she could test the waters, see how valuable her skills might prove. Saturday night found her back at Cole Technologies, her cleaning uniform a perfect disguise for after-hours access. The executive floor stood empty, the security guard nodding familiarly as she wheeled her cart past his station. Working weekend overtime, Amara? Mama needs medicine, she answered, exaggerating her accent, playing the role they expected. In the conference room, executives had left their translation attempts scattered across the whiteboard, a mess of mistranslated technical jargon and business terms. Amara winced at their mangled interpretations. Using her sapphire pen, she carefully corrected 3 critical sections, translating the complex semiconductor terminology with precision. She signed it simply, Moonlight. The corrections were specific enough to demonstrate expertise, but limited enough to seem like helpful hints rather than a complete solution. A test balloon to gauge reaction. By Sunday morning, her anonymous assistants had created a stir. Arriving early with her cleaning cart, Amara lingered near the conference room door, eavesdropping. "Who the hell is Moonlight?" Cole demanded. "Security says nobody unauthorized entered the building," Brooks responded. "Must be someone on our team." Amara watched through the gap in the door as Brooks studied the whiteboard, his expression calculating. Then, to her disbelief, he erased her signature and turned to Cole. "Actually, I did this part," Brooks claimed smoothly. "I've been studying Korean privately. Didn't want to make a big deal of it until I was more fluent. But given the emergency," Cole clapped him on the shoulder. "Finally, some initiative around here. Take point on this, Brooks. Coordinate the team's efforts." Amara's small victory turned to ash. Brooks promoted to project lead based on her work. The injustice burned, but she couldn't afford indignation, not with only 48 hours remaining before eviction. That night, with her mother finally asleep, Amara spread the photographed documents across their kitchen table. Working through the technical portions, she discovered something that made her blood run cold. The contract included provisions for workforce optimization requirements, language that would allow Cole to lay off 300 workers at the manufacturing plant in exchange for reduced production costs. Among those workers would be her mother's cousin's family, who had finally found stability after immigrating last year. Amara sat back, the sapphire pen suddenly heavy in her hand. Complete the translation anonymously and enable more families to suffer? Or reveal herself and risk everything? Her phone buzzed with a text from her supervisor. New security cameras installed in executive wing. All cleaning staff must complete tasks before 7 p.m. until further notice. The window was closing. With her after-hours access restricted, Amara resorted to desperate measures. During her Monday shift, she hid in bathroom stalls during breaks, translating frantically on scraps of paper. She worked through lunch in the supply closet, racing against both Cole's deadline and her own, now just 58 hours until the eviction hearing. By Monday evening, she had completed translations for roughly 40% of the document. She carefully placed more anonymous moonlight notes in the conference room, watching as Brooks continued claiming credit, growing more confident with each successful interpretation. The countdown ticked. 56 hours until eviction. 47 hours until Kim Tech's deadline. Amara's eyes burned from lack of sleep. Her hands cramped from writing. Her mother's condition deteriorated, the stress of potential homelessness causing her blood pressure to spike dangerously. "Nous avons besoin d'un miracle," her mother whispered that night, clutching Amara's hand. "We need a miracle." What her mother didn't know was that Amara had the miracle within her grasp. If only she dared reach for it. "We have a security breach." The words cut through Tuesday morning's executive meeting like a blade. Amara, arranging coffee service, kept her expression neutral as the security chief played video footage showing a shadowy figure in the conference room after hours. "The cameras caught someone, but the angle doesn't show a face," he explained. "Could be industrial espionage." "Investigate everyone," Cole ordered, "especially maintenance staff with after-hours access." Amara felt Brooks's gaze fixed on her. Had he connected her to the mysterious translations? By afternoon, security guards were interviewing all cleaning personnel. When Amara's turn came, she played her role perfectly, the simple cleaner who barely spoke English, confused by complicated questions. "No understand problem," she repeated, hating herself for the stereotype, but recognizing its protective power. "I clean only, no touch papers." The security chief seemed satisfied, but Brooks lingered after the interview, his Stanford ring tapping against the desk. "Interesting," he said once they were alone. "You seem to understand English perfectly when I'm giving cleaning instructions." Amara shrugged, eyes downcast. Instructions simple, questions complicated. Brooks leaned closer. "I think you understand more than you let on. Much more." That evening, Amara found her locker had been searched. Her stomach dropped when she realized what was missing. The sapphire translator's pen, her mother's gift, her talisman. "Looking for this?" Brooks twirled the pen between his fingers when he cornered her in the empty break room. "Quite an unusual item for a cleaning lady. These characters here, they mean wisdom, don't they?" Amara reached for it, but Brooks pulled it back. "Security is very concerned about unauthorized items that could be used for corporate espionage. I've taken the liberty of filing a report." By Wednesday morning, HR had issued Amara a formal warning for possession of unauthorized materials and suspicious behavior. Without her sapphire pen, her connection to her mother, her confidence, Amara felt unmoored, her certainty faltering. The eviction countdown showed 34 hours remaining. Her mother had been taken to the emergency room with chest pains, depleting their meager savings for the ambulance copay. The apartment manager had posted the final eviction notice, 48 hours until they would change the locks. Desperate, Amara used her lunch break to access Brooks's computer while he attended a meeting. What she discovered horrified her. Brooks had deliberately mistranslated key sections of the Kimtech proposal, sections that would not only harm workers, but potentially violate international trade laws. Cole was about to sign an agreement that could trigger investigations and massive fines. When she returned to cleaning duties, Brooks was waiting. "I know it's you," he said without preamble. "The mysterious translator. I checked the personnel files. Your mother is Soo-Jin Chen, formerly Soo-Jin Kim from Seoul. Your father worked here until we, how shall I put it, right-sized him." Amara's mask slipped. "My father was an invaluable asset to this company." Brooks' eyebrows rose at her perfect English. "So she speaks. I wondered how long you'd keep up the act. Give me back my pen. After I speak with immigration about your mother's visa status," Brooks countered. "Expired, isn't it, since your father's death? Would be a shame if authorities were notified." The threat hung between them. Speak up and face deportation threats, or remain silent while hundreds lose their livelihoods and Cole Technologies commits corporate suicide. 30 hours until eviction, 24 hours until the Kimtech deadline. Amara had never felt more trapped or more determined. The emergency board meeting began at 9 a.m. Thursday, exactly 24 hours before the Kimtech deadline. Amara moved silently around the conference room perimeter, pouring coffee and arranging pastries as Brooks presented his completed translation to Cole and the board members. "As you can see," Brooks explained, pointing to his PowerPoint, "the terms are highly favorable. Kimtech is offering exclusive manufacturing at rates 15% below market, with minimal quality control oversight." Amara winced at his mistranslation. The document actually specified stringent quality control protocols with 15% higher tolerance standards than industry average. "Their only unusual request," Brooks continued, "is accelerated production scheduling using what translates roughly as modified staff allocations." Amara's hands trembled as she refilled the water pitcher. Brooks was deliberately obscuring the mass layoffs the contract would require. "There's a technical section about the Yudong model process that's still unclear," Brooks admitted, butchering the pronunciation so badly that Amara couldn't stop herself from flinching. Cole noticed. "Something wrong with the coffee girl?" All eyes turned to her. The moment stretched, her future balanced on a knife's edge. "Yudong model," Amara corrected softly, the proper tones flowing naturally. "It means fluid modeling system, not whatever he said." The room froze. Brooks's face darkened. "Excuse me?" Amara straightened her shoulders. 16 years of language study overtaking 5 years of practiced invisibility. "You've mistranslated several critical sections. Yudong model refers to the semiconductor's thermal management system, which requires specialized handling during manufacturing. It's not about staff reallocation. It's about technical specifications." "How dare you interrupt?" Brooks began, but Cole cut him off. "You speak Korean?" Cole demanded, studying Amara as if seeing her for the first time. "Korean, French, and English," Amara answered, her heart pounding. "I also read Japanese and Chinese, though my speaking fluency is limited." "She's lying," Brooks interjected. "She's just a cleaner." "My father was Marcel Chen," Amara continued, gaining confidence with each word. "He built your Asian market division before your strategic restructuring 5 years ago. He taught me business Korean and technical terminology since childhood." Recognition flickered in Cole's eyes. "Chen, I remember him." "This is absurd," Brooks protested. "She's probably working for our competitors." "Check my credentials," Amara challenged, pulling out her phone to display her profile on translationweave.com. I work under the username WordWeaver. I have a 4.98 rating with over 400 academic and technical translations completed, specializing in engineering and business documents. Cole took her phone, scrolling through the impressive client list and testimonials, his business instincts clearly wrestling with his prejudices. Brooks, your translation mentions nothing about quality control protocols, Amara continued, addressing the board now. It also obscures the fact that Kimtech is requiring you to lay off 300 manufacturing workers as a condition of the deal, which would violate 3 separate labor agreements you've signed. The board members murmured, looking between Brooks and Amara. This is outrageous, Brooks sputtered. You can't possibly… Page 16, paragraph 4, Amara recited from memory. The characters clearly state that Cole Technologies must implement workforce reduction measures of no less than 300 positions within 60 days of contract execution. I can read the entire section verbatim if you'd like. Cole studied her for a long moment, calculation replacing surprise. You claim you can translate this entire document accurately? I've already translated about 60% of it, Amara admitted. I was leaving anonymous notes to help, the ones Mr. Brooks has been taking credit for. Brooks's face flushed crimson as heads turned toward him. You were the moonlight, Cole asked. Amara nodded. A slow smile spread across Cole's face, not warm, but predatory, recognizing an opportunity. My offer stands, he said. Translate the complete document by tomorrow's 9 a.m. deadline, and my daily salary is yours, $27,400. I want it in writing, Amara countered, surprising herself with her boldness. And I want my pen back. Your pen? Cole frowned. My Sapphire translator's pen. Mr. Brooks confiscated it yesterday and filed it as suspicious material. All eyes turned to Brooks, who reluctantly pulled the pen from his jacket pocket. And I want a written contract guaranteeing my continued employment regardless of the translation outcome, Amara added, with a confidentiality clause protecting my mother's immigration status. The room fell silent at her audacity. Cole studied her with new interest, perhaps even respect. Draw up the agreement, he finally instructed his assistant, and get Ms. Chen whatever resources she needs. As the sapphire pen was returned to her hand, Amara felt its familiar weight, cool, solid, grounding. The countdown reset in her mind. 18 hours to translate the remaining document while her mother faced eviction in 36 hours. For the first time in years, she was visible, for better or worse. Amara worked through the night in a small conference room they'd assigned her, fueled by adrenaline and vending machine coffee. Her fingers flew across the keyboard, the sapphire pen in her hand guiding her through complex technical terminology and subtle cultural nuances that machine translation could never capture. By 3 a.m., her eyes burned. The characters began swimming on the page. She had completed nearly 85% of the translation, carefully noting discrepancies between what Kimtech was actually offering and what Brooks had claimed. The truth was somewhere in between, not as rosy as Brooks painted, but not as exploitative as she initially feared. The workforce reductions were suggested, not required, and Kimtech had included provisions for retraining programs. Her phone buzzed with a text from her neighbor, who was sitting with her mother at the hospital. Doctors want to keep her another day. Need $2,200 deposit for continued care. Amara massaged her temples. 30 hours until eviction. 6 hours until her translation deadline. She allowed herself a moment of hope. Cole's money would solve their immediate crisis. She could negotiate with the landlord, pay the hospital, perhaps even find better housing closer to medical facilities. She rested her head on her arms just for a moment. The crash of coffee splashing across her desk jolted her awake. Amara gasped as hot liquid spilled across her handwritten notes and seeped into her laptop keyboard. Oh, clumsy me. Brooks stood over her, empty coffee cup in hand, fake concern plastered across his face. I was just bringing you a fresh cup. You looked so exhausted. Amara jumped up, frantically dabbing at the spreading liquid with tissues. Her laptop screen flickered, then went black. My translation, she began, panic rising. Don't worry, Brooks said with a smile that didn't reach his eyes. I took the liberty of moving your digital files to my secure drive for safekeeping. Can't be too careful with such sensitive material. Give them back, Amara demanded, her voice steady despite her racing heart. I would, but unfortunately there seems to have been some sort of corruption, technical glitch. He shrugged. These things happen. The digital backup was gone. 4 hours before deadline, Amara would need to reconstruct critical sections from memory and the coffee-stained notes that remained legible. As Brooks sauntered out, he called over his shoulder. Cole expects perfection, you know. One mistranslated clause could cost the company millions. I'm sure he'll understand if you need to withdraw from the challenge. Amara's phone buzzed again. This time her landlord. Eviction processor coming tomorrow morning instead of Monday. Legal approved acceleration due to repeated late payments. She stared at the ruined papers, the dead laptop, feeling the walls closing in. 3 hours of work lost, mother in the hospital, eviction imminent. Brooks had outmaneuvered her at every turn. For one moment she considered giving up, walking away, finding another cleaning job somewhere Cole and Brooks couldn't touch her. Then her phone rang. The hospital. Her mother's condition had worsened. They needed payment authorization for additional treatment. Amara worked frantically, recreating translations from memory, her hand cramping around the sapphire pen. 2 hours passed. 3. As dawn broke, exhaustion overtook her. Her head drooped, eyes closing despite her best efforts. She awakened to Cole standing over her, Brooks smirking behind him. The wall clock showed 8:47 a.m., 13 minutes until deadline. I expected this, Cole announced, taking in her disheveled appearance, the scattered papers, the coffee stains. People should stay in their lanes. Housekeepers clean, executives execute. That's why I'm rich and you're, well, exactly where you belong. He turned to his assistant. Draft a termination notice. Clearly, Ms. Chen violated company policy by accessing confidential documents without proper authorization. But our agreement, Amara protested, was contingent on delivery. Cole cut her off. And you failed to deliver. I can explain. Call Translation Pro, Cole instructed Brooks, ignoring her. See if they can start from scratch this afternoon. We'll have to ask Kimtech for an extension. Brooks's triumphant expression said everything. Amara sat frozen, watching her one chance at saving her family collapse under corporate cruelty. Her mother's voice echoed in her memory. Words build bridges between worlds. But what happened when those bridges were deliberately burned? Had she risked everything only to end up in a worse position than before? As Cole turned to leave, Amara's gaze fell on her bag, where the edge of a notebook peeked out. Her mother's research journal. She'd brought it for reference, forgotten until this moment. Wait, she called, a new clarity cutting through her exhaustion. Cole paused at the door, irritation evident. We're done here. My mother worked on this exact technology, Amara said, pulling out the journal. The KX700 semiconductor series. She was part of the original development team before Kimtech acquired the patent. She flipped through the journal, finding her mother's detailed notes on the manufacturing process. Diagrams, specifications, testing parameters, information not even included in the Kimtech documents because they assumed Cole Technologies already understood the foundational technology. These notes contain details about the thermal modeling system that aren't explained in the proposal because they're proprietary knowledge. Amara stood straighter, confidence returning. I can complete this translation with technical precision no translation agency could match. You have 10 minutes, Cole said after a calculating pause. Amara worked with renewed focus. Her mother's journal opened beside her. The sapphire pen moved across paper with certainty, filling gaps, clarifying ambiguities, noting technical specifications that the Kimtech document only referenced obliquely. At precisely 8:58 a.m., she walked into the boardroom where executives had gathered for the Kimtech video conference. She placed the completed translation before Cole, who scanned it skeptically. "The video call is starting," his assistant announced. Cole hesitated, glancing between the translation, Brooks, and Amara. "Ms. Chen, perhaps you should—" "I'll wait outside," Amara said, turning to leave. "Actually," came a voice from the video screen, "we would prefer if Ms. Chen stayed." Everyone turned to the large display where Min-Soo Kim, CEO of Kimtech, appeared with his executive team. Beside him sat a familiar face, Mr. Lee, her mother's former colleague. "Miss Chen," Lee said in Korean, "it is an honor to meet Soo-jin's daughter. She spoke of your linguistic gifts often." Amara responded in flawless Korean, her surprise giving way to understanding. "The honor is mine, Mr. Lee. I didn't realize you were aware of my employment here." "We weren't," Min-Soo Kim interjected, "until our intelligence team noted someone was accurately translating our deliberately complex proposal. Few people could navigate those technical terms correctly." Cole looked between them, understanding nothing of the rapid Korean exchange. Amara switched to English. "Mr. Kim says they included technical complexities as a test. They wanted to see if Cole Technologies still retained the expertise my mother helped build." "And do we pass this test?" Cole asked cautiously. "That depends," Amara answered, switching back to Korean to address Kim directly. "The proposal contains ambiguities regarding workforce requirements that could be interpreted as requiring layoffs. Was this intentional?" A subtle smile crossed Kim's face. "Very perceptive. We have concerns about Cole Technologies' labor practices since Ms. Chen's departure. The workforce language was deliberately ambiguous to see how you would interpret it." Amara turned to Cole. "Kimtech is concerned about your company's approach to workforce management. They included that section as a character test." Brooks stepped forward. "This is ridiculous. She's making this up to—" "Perhaps," Amara interrupted, "Mr. Brooks would like to explain why he deliberately mistranslated key sections and sabotaged my work." She pulled out her phone, showing security footage she'd recovered during her night of research. Brooks clearly visible pouring coffee on her computer and deleting files from her directory. The room fell silent. Cole's expression hardened as he watched the indisputable evidence. "Mr. Brooks," he said quietly, "you're fired. Security will escort you out." As Brooks was removed, protesting loudly, Kim spoke again in Korean. "We will proceed with the contract on one condition, that Ms. Chen oversees the implementation as our cultural liaison." The sapphire pen moved confidently across Amara's notes as she translated the conversation in real time, its smooth surface catching the light, leaving crisp blue characters that smelled faintly of jasmine and possibility. No longer a memento of loss, but an instrument of her authority. "They insist on working directly with me as a condition of the deal," Amara explained, the power dynamic in the room shifting palpably. Cole studied her, recognizing the leverage she now held. With the Kim Tech deadline minutes away and millions at stake, he had no choice. "Fine," he conceded. "Ms. Chen will oversee the cultural aspects of the implementation." The video call concluded with Kim expressing his pleasure at finding Su-Jin Chen's legacy alive at Cole Technologies. As the executives dispersed, Cole approached Amara. "It seems I underestimated you." "Many people do," she replied simply. "Our agreement stands." He wrote a check for $27,400, his daily salary. "Though it appears you've earned considerably more than that." As cameras recorded the official contract signing for company records, Kim made one final request via email: a $50,000 signing bonus specifically designated for cultural consultancy services provided by Amara Chen. With $77,400 in hand, enough to save her mother's medical care, stop the eviction, and provide breathing room for the first time in years, Amara finally allowed herself to exhale. The sapphire pen rested in her hand, no longer a burden of the past, but a key to her future. 6 months later, Amara sat in her new office, Director of International Relations at Cole Technologies. Floor-to-ceiling windows offered a view of the city where she'd once felt invisible. Her desk, polished walnut, not the pressed composite of lower-tier employees, held a framed photo of her mother, now receiving specialized care in a facility close to their new 2-bedroom apartment. The sapphire translator's pen rested in a small crystal stand, its polished surface catching the morning light. When she held it now, the jasmine scent mingled with the fresh lilies she kept beside her mother's photograph. 2 sensory connections, one to her past, one to her present. Her first official act as director had been establishing a scholarship fund for employees' children, named for her mother, and implementing a comprehensive review of the company's layoff policies. Her second had been rehiring workers from her community with proper benefits and language-appropriate training materials. The contract she'd negotiated with Kim Tech had increased Cole Technologies' Asian market share by 32% in 2 quarters. The board members who had once looked through her now addressed her Ms. Chen, with the same deference once reserved for Cole himself. Even Nathan Cole had developed a grudging respect for her, not from any moral awakening, but from the simple arithmetic of profit. Her cultural insights and linguistic precision had opened doors previously closed to the company. As Cole himself had put it in the last shareholders' meeting, Ms. Chen's unique perspective has proven unexpectedly valuable. Amara smiled at the corporate speak translation of "I was wrong about her." Her assistant knocked gently. "Your mother's physical therapist called. The improvements are continuing ahead of schedule." "Merci," Amara answered, allowing herself the small pleasure of using French openly in these halls, where she'd once hidden her multilingual identity. Her phone chimed with a calendar reminder: the monthly board meeting in 15 minutes. 6 months ago, she had been invisible in that room, wiping fingerprints from water glasses, while executives made decisions that affected thousands of lives. Today, she would present her international expansion strategy, a plan projected to create 450 new jobs and increase company valuation by 18%. As she gathered her materials, her gaze fell on a newspaper clipping framed beside her mother's photo. The business section headline read, "Cole Technologies stock soars on Asian partnership. New director credits immigrant mother's legacy." The article highlighted her unconventional rise from maintenance staff to executive leadership, with analysts praising the company's unexpected talent discovery as a model for corporate diversity. What the article didn't mention was the 28 other maintenance and support staff members who had been promoted after Amara implemented her Hidden Talents Initiative, a company-wide program that encouraged employees at all levels to showcase their skills and education. The former security guard with an engineering degree from Ghana, the cafeteria worker who spoke 5 languages, the IT help desk technician with a gift for product design. Brooks, meanwhile, had become a cautionary tale in corporate circles after his attempted sabotage went public. No major tech firm would touch him now. The last Amara had heard, he was teaching business communication at a community college, ironically educating the very demographic he had once dismissed. Cole himself remained unchanged at his core, driven by profit rather than principle, but had learned to recognize talent regardless of its packaging. He still referred to Amara's rise as lightning in a bottle rather than acknowledging the systemic barriers that had kept her hidden. But actions spoke louder than words, and his willingness to reform hiring and promotion practices had real-world impact beyond performative statements. As Amara walked toward the boardroom, employees greeted her by name, some in English, others in French or Korean, each interaction a small bridge between worlds. She carried her mother's sapphire pen, not as a secret talisman, but as a visible symbol of her heritage and expertise. The board members rose when she entered, a sign of respect that still surprised her. As she prepared to present her vision for the company's future, Amara thought of her mother, now taking college courses online to refresh her computer science credentials, and of the cleaning staff who now looked her in the eye, instead of averting their gaze. Visibility had its price. The scrutiny, the pressure, the knowledge that she represented more than just herself in these rooms. But invisibility had cost far more. The talent wasted, the voices unheard, the bridges unbuilt. "Good morning," she began in 3 languages, watching the board members' appreciative nods. Today, we're going to discuss how embracing multiple perspectives transforms not just our culture, but our bottom line. Amara clicked to her first slide, displaying the 32% market share increase alongside the 24% improvement in employee retention since implementing her initiatives. Numbers spoke every language, especially in boardrooms. "Talent doesn't always arrive in expected packages," she continued. "But companies that recognize it, regardless of its wrapping, gain competitive advantage. Let me show you how." The sapphire pen moved confidently across her notes as she led the company's leadership into a future her mother could only have dreamed of, one where bridges between worlds became highways of opportunity. Has someone ever underestimated your potential? Did you have a moment when you finally showed your true value, just like Amara? Share your story in the comments below. I want to hear how you transformed from invisible to invaluable. If you enjoyed this story of hidden talent and unexpected triumph, don't keep it to yourself. Subscribe to Spark Stories for more powerful narratives that will inspire you to reveal your own hidden strengths. Hit that like button if you've ever been underestimated, and ring the notification bell to never miss our weekly uploads of life-changing stories. Remember, your next chapter could be just one brave decision away, just like Amara's was. Spark Stories, where your potential becomes your power. Behind every headline is a human story. At Spark Stories, we go deeper, where emotion meets evidence and drama reveals the system. If this story made you pause, reflect, or feel something, don't forget to subscribe. There's more to come.